Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lizard Brains podcast. I'm your host, DJ Alessandrini. I'm joined by my co-host, Tom O'Gorman. Tom, how's it going? What? It's doing it again.
I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm kidding. Yes, I got him. I'm good,
You got
DJ.
me.
I had a really nice weekend.
That was take two. That was take two because I couldn't hear Tom, and Tom completely just freaking got me. Dude,
You got caught.
my finger was heading toward the end record button. That was pretty good.
I'm good. I had a fun weekend. It's currently raining right now, which is my favorite. And I've just been hanging out at my apartment, chilling out. How are you?
I'm mad at you that you got me so good just now. You got me
How's my lip
so
syncing?
good. Yeah, dude, no, it was perfect. Because there was zero flashing or anything. Or no, I think even your box was flashing, but I didn't hear it. So like it was perfect. It was perfect. Yeah, I got. I had things to talk about today, but now my brain's just completely fried because Tom just pranked me. That's what happens when you prank me, is my brain just shuts off. So yep.
That's all.
It just buzzes out. It needs a hard reset to come back, which is a nap. I need a nap now. So that's how much Tom pranked me.
I guess we'll talk to everybody in about a half hour. I'm kidding. You asked me how TT Nats was on the first go.
Yeah.
It was so fun. I was at TT Nats this weekend announcing. They brought me and Larry McLeod in to announce, and unfortunately, we weren't broadcast anywhere off-site, but we were just talking the whole time on the PA, and Pit Race is where we were. It has a really nice PA system. So it felt like we couldn't hear ourselves, obviously. Every once in a while, we'd step out and hear ourselves, but I just had a really fun time, like, announcing the event. So I was going to tell you about a couple parts of it. So the first part that I loved, they've got the timing and scoring stuff down now, where that shows you like the personal best of the previous sessions of the event before they turn a new lap. So like you have their time to reference, like before they start the cross the start finish line, and you can just like start to keep track of people's personal best, and it's the same 180 people for the whole weekend, and they get like 9 sessions. So you start to remember like what their personal best was and what class they're in and who they're battling with. And Larry and I both just tried to like highlight all of the battles, not just the top battles, but it was like we knew that there was a really good battle for like 6th in max 4 or whatever class. Like you just like pick out like this person only needs to drop a little bit more time to pick up 7th in their class or something like that. So that was really fun. And honestly, we got more comments than like ever about like, hey, you guys are really like adding to
The ambiance.
the paddock vibe.
Yeah.
They're like, you guys are like, and you're not annoying. Like, it's not like too much and it's not repetitive. It's just like, you guys are really doing a good job. So that meant a lot. And overall, it was like a really fun event. I think the SCCA TT stuff is like kind of on a roll for what it does, which is like primarily, I think SCCA TT fits primarily, in my perspective, with like streetable or like enthusiast kind of crossover cars. So like you can autocross them and do TT, or you can like drive them on the street and do TT.
Yeah.
Or you can just take them to track days and do TT. Whereas like all the other time attack stuff is like you're aiming for the moon. So honestly, like unlimited it's not really for TT in SCCA is not really for unlimited cars. It's like a catch-all more than an aspiration.
You say
But
that
like
though,
these cars in like tuner class.
They do have an unlimited class, and Jimmy Ruck showed up in his like unlimited car that does really well at Grid Life events. So like there is a place for those cars, but I think what you're saying is that what their aim is that these are like still streetable cars that you can also have fun with and compete with on a racetrack.
I think so. I mean, there are more people than I realized building their cars for SCCA TT, because I haven't done one in like 2 years maybe.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of cars there that I didn't know about, and there was some really good battles and stuff. But I'm saying it fits a different hole that like Grid Life, for example, there's time attack. But like the most accessible time attack is either like full race cars in Club TR or these like insane monsters in street class to even have a chance at running in at the front of the class. Where in SCCA TT, you can have like basically a stock C5 Z06 and like compete in a class.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then they have the max class is like you've done whatever you want, but you're still on street tires, so you end up somewhere based on your like displacement and minimum weight. So the battles in Max were actually really good too.
Yeah.
There was this awesome battle between the Tesla, Andrew and Chad that run one lap, and Ryan Matthews in his like street mod class, Grid Life street mod class Corvette. And they're in the same class. And Andrew ended up getting the fastest lap of the event and the track record, but he was a little bit slower on day one than day two. So Ryan won the event, and they were like 3/10 apart at the very end of the event.
That's cool.
And then at the other, in the Max 2, there was, what was it? It was a Audi RS3, Rob Wilmoth in an Audi RS3, and Mark Sarshevitz in Mike Kubiak's Corvette. They were co-driving.
Oh, yep.
They ended up 500ths apart on the combined time, like 0.05
Yeah.
over 2 days. It was like, damn, this is super cool. I mean, neither of these cars are like full tilt all my effort towards Max 2 specifically. It's like
Yeah.
these are the cars they're building, and they're building towards Max 2, but they also take them to track days and have fun. And they were like that close. It was really cool.
I know specifically Kubiak's car could have like a crate LS3 in it that makes like 150 more horsepower than his current engine, and it would still be in Max 2. So like, yeah, the car's not like full whatever prepped for it. But that's cool that an Audi won. When's the last time you saw an Audi win something?
When I was driving it, I don't know. I'm kidding. The TCR stuff, obviously,
Oh
but that's
yeah, I
about
forgot
it.
about the TCR cars.
Not street cars.
Yeah, not street cars.
And then like the off-track stuff, they've done a really good job with that. They did this amazing thing. It was my favorite part of the whole event, I think. At the podium, whenever someone sets a new track record, they announce the like third place is this. They come up. Second place is this. They clap. First place comes up. And that time that he set is a what? And the whole crowd goes, new track record.
Yep. I did.
It's so cool.
Yeah, that's a fun little vibe thing. I don't know if that happened organically or if that's like a brainchild of somebody, but like good job, because I think that like that podium ceremony kind of sums up like the Time Trial Nationals like vibe and experience is like everyone standing around the podium ceremony like yelling new track record if you got one. Like
Yeah, I don't want this to sound bad, but it was so different than the Grid Life podiums I was at the last 2 times I was at the track, which were like there are people cheering for the person, and they're like some people are throwing the guy on the shoulders, and there's like people overly celebrating and waving their team flag or whatever. But it wasn't like the whole podium was like in it. Whereas that is like everyone around the entire podium is like new track record.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
but also it has like this like kind of like cheeky like cutesy like silliness to it that like I feel like it really captures like just like I think Grid Life's just like so much more serious, and that's because they aim to be more serious than
Yeah,
like
maybe.
SCCA time trials, and that's obviously not taking away from any of the achievements or whatever from anybody, but it's just
Yeah.
it's I think Time Trial Nationals is just like it's just super high quality track time because you're ordered by transponder times. So if you just want some clean laps, like I think those events are super awesome for just getting some clean laps and really just competing against yourself, right?
Yeah. So I want to like kick off a conversation after this about the competition parts but the other parts that my weekend that were super fun. Um, they didn't plan for us to announce particularly extensively.
Okay.
So like Larry and I are there. They didn't really like plan like here's what you're gonna do. It was like you can do what you want. But it was also like there's only one microphone, so we're handing the microphone back and forth all weekend.
They
Like,
didn't
or
have
like one
two?
of us would just like carry a whole session and the other one could walk away. It was like pretty fluid that way. But because it was like that, halfway through the first day, I just decided like I'm gonna start playing music too. So I broke out my little speaker and I'd set the microphone right next to my speaker and play. And I would just put out like, what would I want to listen to before my session? And I kind of like tried to switch it up. So like one day I did like AC/DC and like Molly Hatchet before Grid for the very first thing. And then like one day I started the day off with some like really cool or like chill hop stuff. And then like one day I played like some video or before one session I would play like some video game music and just like set some tone. And actually people came up and was like, "Who's playing the music?" It's like, "I am. You like it?" And like I had such a good time. uh,
Did
kinda
TW
DJing.
did TWRP make an appearance? I feel like it had to, right? Phantom Racer.
No, I didn't. I
Oh,
didn't do that
what the
one.
you didn't let people run their fastest possible lap times by not playing that song, Tom.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't think to put that one in the rotation. Yeah, I did, like, Thunderstruck, and I did, uh, my favorite game, Gran Turismo 2.
Yep,
I
yep.
did the Ridge Racer 4 theme song.
What about the like the Cardinin or whatever song? Like that.
Cardigans, yeah,
Yeah,
that's my favorite
Cardigans.
game.
Yep, yep.
Um, so I think in another life I'd be a DJ. In
You
this
know,
life, you are a
you can
DJ, but
try.
I would be a DJ in a different life.
Yeah,
To just, like,
Bill's
set the
making
tone
the
for things, it's so fun.
Bill's making the joke in the chat. He said Tom being a better DJ than DJ. Um,
And
the
then I
thing
also got to do some reference. Oh, go ahead.
the thing that I wanted to ask you about was like the hay ride where they throw a bunch of people on a trailer and you're like standing on the back of the truck or on the trailer like explaining like a lap around pit race to everyone that's like all eyes on Tom. Like wasn't that a cool experience? I love doing that at NCM.
It was fun. If that didn't make sense, we basically said, like, on Friday night, you can come hop on this 24-foot trailer or whatever and sit down and ride, and I'm gonna talk from the bed of the truck and, like, just give you some track tips, I guess. Um, I don't know. I don't feel like it wasn't like a transformative thing, but it was a lot of fun. We only did 1 lap, and there was maybe 30 people on the trailer, but I had a lot of, like, nodding and a lot of,
Yeah.
like, a couple little questions here and there. I think pit race is a really good TT track in some ways, but not others. That's what I was going to get to. Um, I didn't necessarily have the same sort of like, here's where you can see people are like kicking up dirt as often, or
Yeah.
um, I feel like you drive the car more at pit race than you drive the track, if that makes sense. And maybe this is not fair. Maybe this is how I perceive the track.
No,
But
I think that's right. I was talking with somebody who's never driven at pit race before, and I like they just know that that's not my like all time favorite racetrack. Like it's fine, it's fine, and it's like pretty fun in a fast car. Um, but like they were like, well, it was. I see what you mean by pit race, but I was still happy I was at a racetrack, and I was like, okay, I think that sums up pit race like perfectly. Like, hey, you're still at a racetrack. Like it's you're still gonna have fun because you're at a racetrack, but like in terms of like I don't know, it just like just because they were at NCM last year, like NCM is like such like a time trial track in my opinion.
I think a driver's track, which
Yes.
makes it good for time trial.
Yes.
But I think pit race, so like what I mean by this, a good example maybe is I would have somebody ask me, like, what curbs do you use at pit race? And I would try to answer the question by going corner by corner. But then I realized after getting that question a couple different times, it was like, I guess I don't really care what curbs I use. I'm driving the car as hard as I can in certain ways, or I'm like trying to balance the car in certain ways by going for as much entry speed as possible in turn 3 or turn 7. Those are both like high entry speed corners. And if I get to all of the curb, great. And if I miss the curb, like, okay. But it's not like make or break in the way that other tracks can be like, this is the curbs that you use, these are the curbs that you don't use. And I think that's kind of an interesting nuance to that track where that stuff doesn't, in my opinion, seem to matter nearly as much. You can put together a pretty good lap without hitting all of those perfect marks if you're driving the car like I joke like Lewis Hamilton style, where he'll sometimes like blow an apex, but like he's driving the car super hard, so it's
Yeah.
fine. I don't even know why I came up with that, but
No, because
I think I
it
saw
would
him
be
like
it'd
blow
be
an
like a new
apex
track
once in
record.
qualifying.
He would beat everyone else by like 4 or 5 tenths, and then you watch the lap and he's missing apexes, and it's like, well, he's doing something right. Like,
Right.
yeah,
That's kind of pit race a little bit to me. So as I actually had been away from the track for a little while when I was living up in Wisconsin and Chicago, and I learned to like sort of coach off of that this time, give advice off of that rather than the way that I used to so much, which was a little bit more, I don't know, traditional to the other tracks, to the way other tracks work. Um, I did get to do reference laps for Dave Marcus in his 911
yep,
and Hayward Wagner in his Turbo RX-8, and those are both super fun. I just did those in practice on Friday morning, so I like woke up before we were on the microphone and like did a couple laps in a Porsche and an RX-8, which was
yeah.
super fun.
That's
Dave's car is great.
that's a good day. Oh, isn't it so good?
It's really good. Interestingly, okay, so I have very little seat time up until now on the Vittor tire.
Yeah.
This is those both of those cars were on Vittor, and I had to learn how to say it because I was on the microphone. It's vi like victory.
Oh
So
man.
both of them are on that, and I find the softness of that tire to be kind of bizarre.
Okay.
This is my first time driving it, but like all the precision out of the car, like for the Porsche, for example, that I would expect, not there. It was like a super low, slow load, and then it would finally grip. And it took me like a lap and a half to figure that out. And then it started like wrapping my head around that, and it was okay.
Yeah.
But I can see where people are a little bit like turned off by even the driving dynamics of it, let alone the perhaps it needs heat, or perhaps it I don't know. I don't even know what other people
Was
say,
it
but
so I
I just
haven't
wanted to
driven
share it
on
was the
the
first time I've driven it. Go
yeah, I
ahead.
haven't driven on the Vittors yet. Is it like difficult to place? Like it has like a squirm to it
Yeah.
or okay. Yeah, so
So interestingly, both cars, if you did a curb strike, it would grip. Like if you landed the car, it almost felt like if you loaded the tire super fast, like a curb strike does,
yeah.
it would grip and like it would want to respond really quickly. But just in general driving, for example, through corner entry, it would want to. It took forever to actually get to its load point where it was like really gripping,
Okay.
which to me translates to like a really soft sidewall or a really soft
Yeah, I'm
construction.
not
Not
sure.
sure, but it made it difficult to plan. It made it more like I just need to start turning and then like plan not plan. I need to like fix what happens after it starts to grip up if I didn't get it right. It actually it started to feel pretty good on both cars. But Sam asked if it's like bias ply tires. It kind of how the 914 used to feel when we were on Avon bias plies in that car back in like 2013 through 16. It took a long time for the tire to load, and like that was autocross, totally different. But through a slalom, you'd be like one steering input ahead because it would take that long for the steering input to travel through the whole car and down to the ground through the tire. So instead of like cone 1, 2, 3, 4 with your steering inputs, it would be like cone 1 and then cone 2 before you hit cone 1. And then you pass cone 1 with steering input 2 already done.
Yeah.
And as you approach cone 2, steering input 3 happens. It's like you have to be way ahead.
Yeah, yeah. It was like playing
I
on
just
a
thought was an
it was
interesting
like playing video
feature.
games on like high latency input for like a old like flat screen TV or something.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I drove a
I can see you
weird
relating that to Halo.
yeah, I
That's
did.
interesting.
I like saw it in my head. I was like, yes, I've played on some really crappy TVs at some like ho bunk tournaments here and there. So and then you're like, cool. I just have to get used to like a quarter of a second input latency on this one. This one is wild. And then it turns into like a
God.
little bit of a carnival show, not who's actually better at Halo, but like who has the worst TV at home. So like, oh man, this person's doing super well. Yeah, because they play on like a freaking ancient TV at home.
Yeah.
So uh I uh I don't have a lot of experience on Yokohamas, and I drove on that this weekend. So I went to Philly for a 2-day
Yeah. Yeah.
event. Me and Peter went to go pick up his new car, which dude, that blue on the GR86. So Peter bought Eric Simmons' old car. That blue freaking pops, dude. Like it is, and Simmons put like a ceramic coating on it or whatever, so it looks like jewelry. Um, anyways, Peter's super pumped about his new car, and I'm super pumped to drive it in 2 weeks. When I get to drive it for the first time, I did not drive it this weekend because I was driving with Ken Houseal, and you've driven this car too. Yeah, Peter just posted a picture of it. It's just a gorgeous color. Um,
Yeah.
and
That's the color I wanted when I got the BRZ.
so I drove Ken Huseal's twin, but it has a supercharger on it. It's the same car that you drove at Finger Lakes, and I remember a couple things that you said at Finger Lakes about the car, but I have my own impressions of the car and also of Yokohamas. I don't think I like Yokohamas. I don't. It feels like, and somebody tell me if this was like just this car and this is not the tire, but to me it felt like the communication of the tire as you approached the limit was very muted, and then you would step over the limit and it was kind of like it wasn't like surprise, but it was like the ramp into slip angle didn't feel like it differed that much from input to input. So like the window of you're like slithering the car around to you're under driving. It's still fast. You're like, but you're under driving a little bit. Is very very tiny. And I don't know if that's a Yokohama thing or a Ken car thing. Uh, but that was like my experience with like trying to come up to speed on those tires. And I also felt like the placement of the car was a little bit difficult, but that could have been the lot because there was a lot of like oscillations in the lot. Um, but the thing that you were talking about with the diff, I don't think was actually the diff. I think it's how the boost comes in comes in so abruptly. There's like a lag on it, even though it's a supercharger. So you'll start to like lay into power, and then the power like kicks in like a half second later, and it like changed like whatever per the RPM was. It wasn't necessarily like transferring load into the diff. It was like more RPM based on like how the boost came in. So I just started manually like I would get into the throttle and then lift out like preemptively as like the boost was kicking in, and then I could like draw, and then I could like it was like basically like I was driving like two powertrains. I would step in like it's naturally aspirated, then immediately get out like I had power, and then I would modulate the rest of the like because now it had boost and like I could accelerate and like have the rear slithering with like partial throttle instead of like normally aspirated uh twins where you just kind of like floor it. So it was like I was driving like two different engines like at the same time. That's kind of what it felt like.
Interesting. Dude, this is why setup is so hard, especially between co-drivers and places where you're sharing like information across different cars. Because I perceive it as a diff issue. When I talked to Ken and Ryan about it on site there, they're like, "Yeah, I think that's right, that we've kind of wondered about that." And you're perceiving it differently, but it functionally creates the same
It would
problem
so
to
when I
solve.
yeah, dude, when I came back after my first run, I was like, I don't know if it's a diff, but like it's doing this thing. And then I did my second run and I came back and I'm like, all right, so it could still be the diff or it's the power. And then like the more I started to play with it and like modulating like when I thought the boost was gonna come in, and it comes in really quick, but it's like it would do this thing where like you're like turning and you're about to leave the corner. So you start like stepping in and then it just kicks sideways. And it's just because that like you for a second you had 100 foot-pounds of torque, and then all of a sudden you had 300 foot-pounds of torque, and it just like shot the rear tires off the car. And I think that mixed in with the yoke, like the behavior that I was feeling from the Yokohamas, where I feel like the Bridgestones, they have like this whole communication as they like get up to the point where they start slithering around. And I haven't driven enough cars on yokes, but I kind of felt this when I drove Emily Brown's twin earlier this year that was also on yokes, where it it doesn't feel like I don't know if I'm going to describe this accurately with words, so help me out if you can, Tom. But like
Do it with hand signals.
yeah, I'm going to do it with hand signals, so it only makes
Interpretive
sense on
dance.
YouTube. Yeah, interpretive dance. Um,
Go ahead, sorry.
but it it there's like a ramp up to like driving a car at the limit, and there's like a it doesn't just go full slither like right away. Like it works into like where the car is gliding around, and it feels like the yokes have like a precipice that you have to like break over to get into the slither. So it'll feel like nothing, 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 nothing. Oh crap, we're slithering. Like it doesn't like ramp into it. It like it's like there's like a breaking point like that you have to break over to get into the slither of the tire. Does that make sense?
A little bit. So you're saying you feel like you have to overexert it and let it come back?
No, it's I don't want to overexert it because then that would be lost time. It's just like in my experience of driving other tires, because like I said, I don't have a lot of experience on the yokes, but it feels like the ramp into the slither is more abrupt in comparison to other tires that I've driven.
That I do agree with. I mean, I've always verbalized it as they're kind of vague, which I think is kind of
Yes.
the reputation they
Yeah,
have,
yeah.
which is why, like, okay, I shilled Bridgestone for a while. I'm not on the contract now, but they were my favorite tire because I always had a hard time verbalizing this past the point that they just do what you expect, and they're like they're the most um what's the word? Shoot, intuitive. They're the most intuitive tire. There's not like a they're the fastest, but you have to dot dot dot. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like They're like the most normal feeling tire that just like does what a tire is supposed to feel like. I also think the Falcon is pretty good about that. I
Yes.
think
So
I don't
you're
know.
the thing that you
Goodyears are
said,
pretty good about
the
that,
most normal
but
feeling tire, you were talking about the Bridgestone.
yeah.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the yoke, and I was like, what the hell?
No, no, no. Those feel like more like Hoosiers when you get to like an R7 or an A7 where they have some like strange nuance that like a the first time you put someone on a Hoosier, they're a little bit like they're fast, but they feel like, is this normal?
I
Is this normal? Is this normal? And they might have a couple little questions like, is that okay?
You're talking the
When that's
yokes.
just part of it. No, the Hoosiers are like that. I think the Yokes are also like that. I'm relating the two.
Yeah, so but the difference between like the Hoosier and the yoke is that the Hoosier will like the window of slither is much larger, and
Yeah.
so like it has the same like ramp into the slithering, where this is the Slither podcast right here. Can you tell it's the Lizard Brains podcast? Let's
I
go.
just heard I also heard my dad go, they're talking about tires.
Anyways,
I
uh,
promise we'll wrap it up, Dad. I promise.
yeah, yeah. But it was interesting because like so many people use the yokes, and I just like really haven't. Um, and I could see how they would be fast, but you would almost need to drive it like a really old tire model in iRacing, where like you can't really step over if you're just kind of playing at that 99.9 percentile. Like it's going to be really quick. But knowing that you're at the 99.9 percentile would be like really hard because the information that like I don't know how you would have the information knowing that you're there.
I don't know either. I think I'm a little too disconnected from specific tires because I jump all the time.
Yeah,
That it's just like becomes what it is. The last car that I really spent significant time on the yokes was the NSX, I think, in 2021.
and that
When I
was
had that
like
car,
that was like two events.
two events worth. Yeah, but that was that. I mean, that was the majority of runs back to back that I did with, I don't know, 30 runs on the car.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I can't speak to that, but there was something else about tires. Dave's Porsche, Hayward's car. You drove the yokes. So you thought that it was more the boost related issue than the different, but I think that's still kind of the same thing. That's why it's so difficult. Because do you detune the boost pressure to, or do you
I think I
the
don't.
throttle pressure to
So
come in throttle position to ramp the boost in lower, or do you take some preload out of the diff or some ramp angle out of the diff so it doesn't bite and lock up as quickly?
no, because
It's like kind of the same thing.
I could feel the diff locking with that like initial pedal press. I could feel it like changing the twist of the car, and then it felt like it felt like it was like locking, 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 and then like it snapped into lock. That's kind of like the sensation that it felt like. But then as I like was getting more in tune to it, I could feel it like basically all the way locked. And then it would do the thing. And then that's what was making me like it's probably like the power rampant. I don't know shit about tuning cars, but like maybe there's something with like the torque delivery request from like the drive by wire like throttle position, or maybe you can like nerf the initials wave of boost coming in, and you could do that with like timing, or I don't know. I don't know how the ECU looks at boost pressure when it's not normally a boosted car. I don't know if you'd have to go to a standalone with like different sensors to be able to tune that in and out, or maybe that's just a thing about like a time attack car. Like you've said multiple times that like time attack cars kind of are like a lot of them are just kind of they're raw and they have weird quirks, and the way you extract time out of them is like driving them around whatever quirks they have. It's like it's not going to be
Yep.
like 100% functional and normal and drivable, like because that's just the nature of the beast that's being driven.
Okay, so I'm not trying to argue, but let me verbalize this. So to me, the reason it translates to diff to me with the setup of the car is you're talking about you feel the diff lock and then a little bit down the road it's over rotating. So that's telling you like it's making too much power too quickly. To me, that's the diff is locked too early. If you slow the way the diff locks down, instead of it locking feeding the power in and then it starts to kind of skitter around past that point, if it wasn't locked as much, it would be more predictable for that phase where it starts to skitter around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean maybe, but like I think once the power hits in, like because like
You want it to be consistent from there.
yeah, but like I feel like it was basically locked by the time the power hit in anyways. So, and maybe if it wasn't fully locked when the power hit in, it would feel a little bit like softer to the rear end. Um, but it
Because I think
just
it's kind of like a delay, when you have like understeer, you can assume after you've started to get good at this stuff, understeer then turns into snap oversteer. Like
yep,
that's like the system of the car is if you're starting to push all this, like the end of that is going to be an oversteer.
yeah,
If the diff locks too early, not immediately, but down the road, it's going to slither the car around. That's kind of what I'm saying.
yeah. I think it.
I'm just curious if you can relate that to what I'm saying.
So I don't know with like 100% certainty that my troubleshooting
Right.
was accurate, but I think that's where I would start is trying to
Yeah.
soften up like the way that the boost comes in. Like I know David Marcus's Supra, he was having a hard time putting power down because the way the boost would ramp in. And then he got a
Yeah.
different tune that had like drivability in mind and it completely changed the car. And I will say that Supra is one of the easier cars I've ever driven on a racetrack. It was just it like the way it got into power was so easy, but that's because the boost came in nice and soft and it didn't like surge in. And I know it's surging in because if I got the car pointed completely straight and got on power, it would be like nothing, nothing, boom, and it would just like surge forward. And that matched the characteristic of how it would break loose, like me trying to leave a corner because I wasn't actively like releasing the torque request from the throttle pedal as the boost like surged in. So like all of a sudden it was like like basically I had it floored. If you imagine if you floored a Corvette coming out of like a corner instantly, like I was having the car was doing the same thing that that would be doing.
Yeah. Did you win?
No, Ken beat me.
Were you happy with your drive?
No,
More importantly.
no.
No? Ah, shit.
I think I had a run where I coned it that I was like, okay, cool. That's about like what I wanted to do. My slalom was a little bit of a mess. If I combined all like my best sections, it was only like a 30-second course. So like how many sections could there be? But I just couldn't like put one together just like fully. Um and I'm kind of blaming my lack of experience on yoke. So I'm super grateful that I got to get like a little bit more experience on a different tire. I think I've just probably just been on the same tire for too long. So like my anticipation of like what a car is going to do uh, became too attached to like a single tire. So like driving a different tire was nice.
This was a good palate cleanser, I
Yeah,
would say.
yeah, and also Ken's car is like freaking sick. That thing is so cool. Like
So fun, right?
dude, I'm like, this is like ideal second gen twin status with like the amount of power it made. I'm just imagining like what that thing would be like on a racetrack because I think it would be like real good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's essentially what Dave Santel has. He shared some videos of his car on track, and it looks very fun
Yeah.
up in Pacific Northwest.
Yep.
Well, one video on track, I guess. He's only been once, but
Yeah. Ken and
with it
Dave
that way.
communicate back and forth because their cars basically are like for lack of a better word, twins of each other. So
Ah,
boom, the button's too far away. Uh, but yeah, super grateful for Ken for letting me come out. Dude, I've been driving at like these different like locals where it's like I have no reason to be there since I'm like so far away, and they're like little locals, and that's kind of what this was. It was just a Philadelphia local. And man, every local has like its own little like flavor of like they all have their own little vibe thing going on. And Philly, like there were so many amazing drivers at this like little local. Uh like I got like 10th in packs, and we all know how soft X Apex is.
what's your God damn? What the hell are you even doing?
Dude, well, I mean, look, I got beat by everyone that was in like DST, so like we know how soft that PAX is too. But like it was like every single person in DST, which is like a first gen twin with like coilovers and stuff on it. Every single person there like trophied at nationals. Like it was just like the and Tom. So I understand why you like being starter now because I've been starter for 2 weeks in a row. That's like Tom's favorite autocross job is starter. One of his favorites. Um, and because you get to like control the tempo of the event. So I had your because you've told me that before. So I had your words in my head as I did the local last week, and I could only send them like every like 20, 25 seconds because they were like getting lost on course. They were hitting cones. The course workers were like kept being clumped up in like little groups and they couldn't get to the cones in time. So like it slowed down the whole event, right? And I'm just like, ah, God, I wish I could send cars faster. Dude, at Philly, I was sending them like every like 13 to like 16 seconds and it was rapid fire and only one car in the 2 days that I was starter got a rerun because the cones weren't cleaned up in time. This event ran freaking quick. So like whatever Philly's doing in terms of like making sure their course workers are like on top of their stuff and the radios like are like efficient back and forth. Like Philly is killing it. Like that event ran so fast. We were done at like 2 o'clock. I was like, shit, should we do fun runs? Like we were done
Yeah,
so fast, and I think everyone got like 5 runs, and it was just like, yeah, it was just so quick and snappy, and like, yeah. So they run a good
that's cool.
operation there, but like it's different as you like go to these different regions, and you see like you can kind of like see the history of the region. Like if the region's been healthy for a long time, to me, that's like what Philly looks like, where you got a bunch of really fast people there, you got a good core group of people, and even the novices or like the people that are relatively new are like on top of their work assignments as well. And then if you go to like a Neo Ohio, which is like my local region, which has like struggled for years, it's like a completely different thing because everyone's so new. You don't have that like core group that's been doing autocross for like 10, 15 years and then like even the newbies have been doing it for a couple years. Like you just don't have that. Like everyone's new.
I just made this connection in my brain. So when you go to a track day and you're brand new, a track day has to teach you how to be safe on a racetrack. They probably give you, so that includes flags,
Yep.
general flow, how to get to grid, um, um, what to do when you see each flag. Like there's the whole thing that we all know about when you go to a track day. When you go to an autocross and you're new, you have to learn how the event works
Yes.
because you're part of the event to work it. And there's therefore barely any instruction on how autocross works. And on the flip side, when you go to a racetrack, there is zero exposure to how the event works at all. I've never thought about that before.
Dude,
Wow. Huh.
every time I go to a different autocross event, this is what every autocross region can do better. Every time I go to a different event, I don't know how it works. Like even at national events, I don't know how it works. I'm like, do I bring my helmet? Do I not bring my helmet? Do I tech? Do I just tell you that I'm here? Where do I check in? Do I need to check in? Like it's different at every single place you go to. So like this
It
one,
is.
there's a tent and people sitting at a table, and I walk up there and go, "Is this check in?" And they went, "Yep." And I went, "Okay, cool." So I checked in. And then I went and hung out with people, did some course walks. And next thing you know, my name is being called on a list because I did not check in from a work assignment. I drive first. What do you mean I didn't check in for a work assignment? Oh, apparently at that same table, there was another person that was checking in work assignments, like, and they do that in the beginning of the day. But there's nothing to communicate that to me. And I would like to think that I at least kind of know what I'm doing when it comes to autocross and it's not readily apparent to me. So I'm thinking like from the eyes of like a straight newbie, like we're like that is their first event, and how are they supposed to know where to go? I only knew that there was a check-in because I'm like, there's got to be a check-in here somewhere. But
Yeah.
if you like signed up online because like you Googled it and you're like, ooh, this is a thing I could do, and you showed up and you parked your car and you're like wandering around, and you're like, people are walking the course. I guess I should do that. I don't know if you would have noticed this tent with the table at it.
So what do you think's harder to go to for your first event, a track event or an autocross? Just to like figure it out, not the driving. Everything but the driving. What's easier?
I think an autocross, because the track thing, they send you a bunch of like supplemental information. Like you get
I was
emails
going to
about it.
disagree. Okay. Hmm.
But like how
I think
much
it's hard.
supplemental information do you get going to an autocross? You just kind of show up.
None. That's what I'm saying. So you show up to an autocross, and best case, you have a very vague indication that you're supposed to go to like that area or that tent or that trailer to check in. And then you have to learn how the autocross works because you have to work it, and you have to learn how cones work, and you have to learn how the course works. You have to learn how the run heats work, and you have to learn your class. And then like you go to a racetrack, and they kind of hold your hand because it's way more dangerous.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I think the racetrack is easier and autocross is harder.
Oh, we're agreeing. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've never thought about it this way, but you're right. The regions that do the best for autocross are the ones that make it as simple as possible. And I
Yeah,
think the track days that do it the best, huh?
and think about it.
Track days that do it the
We've
best,
all
I don't
seen
even know.
Tom. Think about it. We've all seen that person on the internet that goes like, "Autocross sucks. I'm a track day bro." Right? Like we've all seen that person, right?
Yeah.
And it's like immediately when you read that, you're like, well, that guy just sucks at autocross. Like that's at least that's what happens in my brain when somebody's like, yeah, autocross is for nerds. Screw you, dorks. Like that's immediately what I think. And I'm like, ooh, somebody had a bad time with the cones. Um, so, but like it might be they went to an event, they didn't know where to go, they got yelled at over the freaking PA system, like, "Well, you didn't check in." And he's like, "What the hell? I didn't even know I needed to do that." And they're already like a little rattled, a little under bandwidth or over bandwidth, and like that kind of like set the tone for how it is. And then also like you kind of have this like thing. And if you're like in charge of a region, like don't let this happen. You get people with like a little bit of authority and they just start like yelling. You know what I'm talking about?
Dude, yelling at any event to me is, like, insane. Yelling
Yes.
never fixes anything ever anywhere.
Yep.
Like, okay, if you're the person who's in grid and you see a cone get hit and you start yelling, stop. Never do that again ever in your life, you're part of the problem. I'm gonna say that right now with, like, all 10 toes down. Is that what they say on TikTok?
Yeah,
I don't know.
like maybe
Don't
just
like, yelling doesn't help. No, it doesn't help. There's never a problem where yelling is
yeah, just
helpful.
go to somebody with a radio and go like, "Hey, I saw a cone get hit. It's like sitting on the course. I don't think the course workers saw it." And then they'll be like, "Oh, thank you for letting me know." And then they'll call in the trailer, and then the trailer will call over to the corner workers to go pick up that cone. But going cone, cone, like that's, and I've been guilty of it.
It was kinda like
I've been
I'm gonna
guilty
say
of it.
this. I've never been guilty of it. I'm proud of that, but I have my own other flaws. I we were sitting
That,
we were sitting
but
across
Tom
the
McGoran wants everyone to know that is not one of them.
but I'm impatient to yeah, to the core. Anyway, so we were in our paddock spot at Autobahn. This is a pivot, but at our paddock at Autobahn, we were after the podium sprint, the podium cars are coming through Tech, which is right across from our paddock, and into the like podium area. And Street Mod comes through and Dewey wins, and it basically locks up his championship. And he's outside of his car. Dewey listens. Hi, Dewey. And he's like, he's screaming. He's just yelling and screaming. And we're like, did it go well? Did it not go well? Is he
You
mad? Is he
you don't know
happy? No idea.
this
That's like this. You're
ambiguous
like, they're screaming. I
scream.
don't know. Is
Yeah.
good? Is something bad? Someone's just screaming. You're allowed to scream if you're happy, Dewey. Keep doing that.
But maybe make it obvious that you're like maybe screaming like "yay" or "yes" or "woo" or something. But if it's just like, then like people don't know. People don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Um, can I pivot the conversation towards TT since we just got there about like how events work a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so there was this big long event long, excuse me, thing with track conditions at pit race this weekend. And for those of you who haven't done SCCA time trials, they always break it into a minimum of 2 segments, and a certain sessions count towards segment 1, certain sessions count towards segment 2. They combine your best times and they add it all together. They've done as many as like 5 segments where you do like these lapping sessions are segments 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to do like a standing start autocross style track sprint. Um you know, they add it all together and your 5 different times or your aggregate time, and that's the win. Anyway, the track condition at pit race this weekend was like particularly bad. And I don't know if it was just because it was particularly sunny and it's like later in the year. It's definitely later in the pavement's age, like 8 years
Hmm.
plus, I think. And a lot of people, this was the first time ever going to pit race for time trial nationals, but also maybe even competition. Sorry, this was SCCA's first time doing time trial nationals there. Therefore, it was a lot of people's first time doing time trials at pit race. And I think a lot of people, especially people who do a lot of time trials and time attack, left frustrated because the way the format played out, you got Friday morning for practice, Friday afternoon, Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon was segment 1. So your best of those 6 sessions counted as your one time. And then Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon, you got 3 sessions. And that was your best of segment 2. So they add 1 and 2 together. And it basically means, like, as time attack always is, Saturday morning and Sunday morning were the only sessions that really
Yep.
supplied you.
Especially at pit race because the track is so dark. The pavement's so dark, so it gets really hot when the sun's hitting it.
I don't think it's any more dark than any other now. I think it's pretty old now.
I
Maybe,
feel
but
like the
maybe you're right.
color of
Maybe
it
whatever it is.
is darker than other tracks. But also like and maybe that's not 100% true, but I do know that the sun really takes some time out of pit race specifically for
Big
whatever
time.
reason. It's like the moment the sun's hitting that track, it's a completely different racetrack.
I don't know that it's any worse than any other racetrack, but it's longer. So like Gingerman gets bad. Gingerman's like 2 seconds slower from like a cold morning in the spring to like super hot in September. Pit race is worse than that, but it's also longer. But anyway, what I'm curious about, and I wanted to talk about on here, I don't know that we're going to disagree or have like a super long conversation, but I do am curious for people who do track events, time trials, time attack, like what the preference is to like solve that problem. Because I do think it sucks. Like if
Yeah.
you just know like the track's not there for me and now my event's kind of over.
And then like the
But I
afternoon
think,
sessions are like completely pointless.
yeah,
Yeah.
what I did like is we started the competition in the afternoon. So like sessions 1 and 2 were on Friday night. So the track was already kind of bad. And then people got a chance to go faster and get that like dopamine on
Yeah.
Saturday morning to feel like they did a better job. What I think they should do is I had a couple ideas. Idea one was segment one is morning sessions on Saturday and Sunday, and then segment two is afternoon sessions on Saturday and Sunday, or basically afternoon Friday, Saturday.
Oh,
So like the morning sessions with the similar conditions count together, and the afternoon sessions with similar conditions count together.
I kind of like that.
And the other idea I heard was
Was that
like
your idea,
Friday
Tom?
night. I agree with that idea. I had the idea, but I'm not the first one with that idea. Other
Okay,
people
because
said
that's
it
a
too.
great idea because that solves that issue a lot. It makes the afternoon sessions like worth something. But then if you still have a mechanical, you're not completely screwed because you have the next day to get that time in.
Yeah, the other idea was like double the dopamine hit, where the first segment is Friday night, Saturday morning, and the second one is Saturday night, Sunday morning. But that still kind of leaves like the morning sessions are the important ones. I
Hmm.
think it should be the morning sessions are separated from the afternoon sessions, so both matter equally
Yeah.
without affecting the other ones. And I'm really curious your thoughts on that, but also just like in general, is that within the spirit of time attack? We're neither of us are like time attackers by blood.
No.
Is that like something that should be embraced? Is that reasonable? Do people just want like whatever your time is, your time is? I don't know.
I think so. I do think I think that solves that issue because I do think that's an issue with the format of it's like anti dopamine is where like oh I started the day and that was my best shot and the competition's over but like maybe I can try later today and you're like sitting around going like I think I already lost but I'm gonna try like it's just it's not a great feeling. But if you can improve on like your afternoon time from yesterday by like doing that afternoon sessions on day two and you know there's some time out there, I could I could see that. Like obviously like you're still the morning sessions is still going to be the one that counts for like the track record or whatever. But yeah, I could see that working. So Anthony in the chat, he says like why don't you just make like every session a segment? And I think that would be cool too, but people have mechanical problems and so if they miss a single segment then their whole weekend is shot. That's also kind of crappy. Um, like you just miss one session and then you literally can't place for the whole thing. That kind of sucks. Um,
I think that's why they backed it down from like 5 segments in the early days to now it's like 2 or 3.
yeah.
But I agree kind of towards Anthony's thought. And I know Anthony does time attack, but I don't know if he's like a time attacker because I know a lot of like purebred time attackers that are just like, nope, fastest lap whenever you get it. That's what it is. That's time attack. I like Kelsey's thing though here, a consistent fast driver. No, a driver should be encouraged in the SCCA sphere versus other formats that encourage one lap wonders. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so that's a really good point back to what we said at the beginning, where SCCA has found its little niche,
Yeah.
where it's like the accessibility of it and the way the format works is different than
Now,
the way that like people chase unlimited and track mod and
yeah.
uh I don't know, street in
Now,
GTA and grid life.
I remember Hayward was talking about potentially making it where you had the 3 laps added together because he enjoyed that format so much on one lap when he did one lap. and that obviously never went anywhere. But like I was super pumped about that. Now I get it, like to have a car to be able to consistently push for 3 laps. That's a little outside of the scope of probably, unfortunately, a decent percentage of the cars that are probably in the grid, which is probably why they didn't do that idea. Because most cars they can do like a lap, uh, or like 2 laps, like push, but then the third lap they're probably like temps are getting too high. Like I literally saw that in 1 lap with the Supra. Is like it was like every other session, the third lap, the car would go into limp mode because the intake temps would get too high or whatever was happening. So,
Yeah.
like, it's literally like I get that. But maybe like you just do 2 laps and both like your first flyer and your second flyer count. Like I think a cumulative uh lap recording of some sort. I do think there's value in that. And you kind of capture some of that intensity from 1 lap where it's like, oh, I made a little bit of mistake. This lap isn't gonna be that great, but it still matters, right? Like you like gotta like goldfish that mistake out of your brain and just like keep going. So yeah. I don't know. They could I think really they could probably just switch it up a bunch all the time, and that would be perfectly fine for like the format. Like, for instance, why don't we just do some laps at the kart track
In the car or the cart?
in the car? That'd be sick.
In the car.
You take out
Okay.
all like the little chicanes and stuff, and it would probably be like a relatively short lap, but it would be something different. Hey, whenever you get a chance, go over to the kart lap, record a time. That's one of your segments.
Or hear me out. We go to multiple tracks and then you have a time count from every single track. Like you go around the whole country and you do multiple different ones.
Dang. I like that.
No one's ever done that before.
That one's good. I like that one. But no, like you could like switch it up. Like if one track, like in the SCCA could be like clever about it. So like pit race has like a kart track. So like, yeah, hey, you know what? We're gonna make everyone do laps around the kart track for like one of the segments. Or you go to some other track and maybe they have like a configuration, or maybe they have a skid pad, or maybe they have a big lot where you could do like an autocross or whatever. But like have it where like people don't even know what they're showing up to. They're just like, I'm gonna show up to a thing and there's going to be things to compete in my car, and it's going to be multiple different segments, and all I have to do is my best, right? Like that to me would be like super fun. I don't know what everyone else would think on that, but if I showed up and I'm like, oh, I got to set a lap time around a kart track in my car, let's do this. I'm ready. Like I've been training my whole life for this moment.
I do think a skid pad challenge would be pretty fun. I don't think the skid pad was being used for anything this weekend. Like they
Now
could have had
they made
they
a
could have had a
I think they made Steel Cities cancel their event that they had scheduled. I saw the Steel Cities chat getting a little salty that like
yeah,
somebody.
no, they should have had a event that people from TT Nats could enter and like do runs
I know.
intermittently.
I know.
Damn, that sucks. I just had an idea and I lost it.
Kelsey said I'm
Skid pad.
describing Targa apparently.
Yeah, I have actually I'd like to do a Targa next year. Let's do Targa in your MX-5.
I mean, we could. I should probably get a new soft top in case it rains. Nah,
Who
screw it.
cares?
We'll just have the top down the whole time, Tom.
Yeah. Chop top challenge. Yeah, now we're
Let's do
talking.
it.
Dang, something else popped into my brain. I just lost it. That happens too much.
Mm.
It'll come back.
Hey Tom,
Yeah.
uh, we could put suspension on your BRZ and use that if you want.
It already has it's already perfect the way it
Nope,
is.
we got coilovers. I'll talk to you after the podcast. I know a guy.
Okay. Guys, I think I'm gonna get uh pitched into like a pyramid scheme or something. This is how they always start.
This is how it starts. First time you have to sell cosmetics, but then eventually you'll work into coilovers. So
Yeah.
yeah,
You want brows like these?
yep,
No.
yep, exactly. Start
No.
selling off some foundation. You know,
You know, I did miss the way that the old TT Nats and time trials used to like break up the track layouts that we ran. It would be pretty cool if they did one day or one segment on like the north and south course. Sorry, I'm going to stress John Hunter out so much right now, and he listens. He's in charge of time trials. This is just spitballing dreams at this point. The thing I was going to say it just came back. They announced at the event, and they said keep it off of social media, but we're not on social media. We're on a podcast.
yeah, this isn't social
Next
media.
year, next year, the SCCA time trials will be the SCCA Time Attack National Championship.
Oh,
So it'll actually be a national championship within SCCA instead of just
Okay.
nationals.
So I was talking to somebody and they said, yeah, but it's not going to be called time trials. I'm like, what is it going to be called? And they're like, I don't know. So obviously they knew, unless you didn't. And like, is this secret information? Is this information being broken on the Loser Brains podcast first?
Kinda. If you weren't at TT Nats, you wouldn't have heard this yet, probably.
Okay. Well, this
Yeah.
person was at TT Nats. And I said, so are they going to have TT Nats at Pit Race next year? And he said,
Yeah.
well, kinda, but it's not going to be TT Nats. And I was like, oh, okay. He said, it's going to be called something else. And I went, all right, what are they just gonna put like Sunoco in front of it or something? Like, like what are they doing?
No, it's just Time Attack National Championship.
Okay. Do they have a jacket?
Probably. They better. Actually, okay, here's an interesting thing. What would you want to win from a Time Attack National Championship? A
Set of
watch,
tires.
a hat, a set of tires? That goes away. A jacket. What's a Time Attack? It's $50,000.
Thomas Lathrop, $50,000. He freaking sent that in instantly. He was like, "Yep, this is what I need."
All right, so let's say they spend $100 on everyone's jacket. Would you want $100 or you want the jacket? I'll take. I don't know.
I don't know. Well,
I'll
what
take
if it's
the
like a
jacket.
different color? Like it wouldn't be a red jacket because that's a solo. That's the solo national championship jacket. What if it's like the same jacket but it's like Tom O'Gorman blue?
That's licensed. They're gonna have to pay me for that.
Oh, really? You license the color?
Pantone license. Yeah. No, I don't know.
Yeah, Peter
I do
Schnorr
like the
better.
jacket thing.
Peter Schnorr has Tomo Blue on his car. He better pay you some royalties.
Oh yeah, Peter, you owe me money.
Oh, dang it.
And Whitney and anyone else with that color car. That's a good question. I'm not interested in watches and trophies and stuff. I like the jacket because it's a usable item.
Yeah. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't really need anything. I honestly, I kind of forgot about
What about like
the jacket.
national championship tire blankets?
Nah,
Something, what's an accessory for the car? Something that you can see in paddock but not wear and look like a tool?
a seat?
Maybe.
No, because then it would have to be. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe maybe Ito Waxman can make wings for national champions.
Yeah, sure. Whitney said folding chairs. They did that actually. I have a chair.
Oh yeah, I think I actually remember those.
Huh?
I don't know. I
Maybe
don't
a
know.
jacket and a chair.
I think a jacket works, but maybe some sweatpants. I don't know. National champion
Tracksuit.
sweatpants. Yeah, tracksuit.
National championship Adidas tracksuit.
I don't know if you guys got ideas. Like, let us know in the Discord. Links in the description.
Speaking of Discord, should we do a question?
Um,
Do you have anything?
yeah,
What?
I had something else. Oh, I think.
Oh, go ahead.
Just talking about like the different segments, and I know there's some tracks where you can't run it backwards, but like, come on, let's just get some like Tech Pro barriers or something, and like protect the ends of the guardrails that like you would spear with the front of your car or whatever. Like, there's got to be something we can do so we can run tracks backwards because like that track sprint format. If we're not just running on the racetrack and we're just doing a standing start from some like random point on the racetrack, but like we're going backwards or like we're taking alternate layouts or multiple alternate layouts or whatever, like to me that is super super fun. Like the one track sprint I got to do going backwards at Gingerman was so cool. We even used 10A instead of 10B, or 10B is the one that goes way outside. And yeah, we got to use 10A and we are going backwards. We used 10A and went like through the S's backwards. And like, that was so, so cool doing Gingerman backwards. Like, I want to do more tracks backwards for like a different segment. Now, the reason why I say like a track sprint is because I realize that there's really bad incidents can happen when like the guardrails are angled for you to never end up like in it, right? But like, can we just like put up like Tech Pro or like have like tractors like bring concrete blocks so they don't end up in the corner station? Or I don't know. These feel like solvable issues.
Block it with concrete. There you go.
Yeah, like
Everyone will be fine.
yeah, just
No, I'm with you. I would love
really
for that to be a
soft
thing.
concrete.
I would love for that to be a thing for sure. I used to love doing this in video games. I don't do it anymore because video games don't let you. But driving backwards on racetracks, especially like in Gran Turismo and stuff.
Yeah.
Just seeing, I think it'd be
It's
so
like a
cool.
completely different track. Like it does like
You know
driving
who would be good at this?
what?
Alex Peel,
Oh, he would be really
because he
good at
already
it.
walks courses backwards.
He literally what oh my god. And then if we just change the direction of it, he would walk it the correct way.
Yeah.
Oh, my brain's hurting.
I'm
Trying-
so into the backwards idea or something like that. I also Thomas got the answer. He has the answer for what you win if you win a championship.
What is it?
The winner doesn't have to work the course for a year.
Yes. And you take it whatever autocross region you go to. No, seriously? That is a
You get a little
great
get out of jail free card. I don't have to do my work
I don't
assignment.
have to do my work assignment. And they'll be like,
That's so
we're gonna
funny.
need you to go to turn 4. And you're like, hold on. And you pull out your wallet and you got this like wrinkled card that obviously gets used all the time. And you're like,
Yeah.
sorry, I got one of these bad boys. And they go, oh, sorry, Mr. National Champion, sir. I didn't realize. And you go, don't worry. Please don't stress about it. And then you like sit back in your lawn chair and like drink your beverages.
Yeah. And you also get to skip the driver's meeting.
Yes. Well, maybe not that because maybe there's important information in the driver's meeting.
Yeah, no, they should know who that you. If you're a champion, you know.
You don't get questioned if you do skip it, but like it's recommended that you go. It's kind of like point buys on in an advanced group. Like a lot of advanced groups that like you don't need to, but they just recommend it anyways because like you might as well.
I will say the traffic jams were really not a problem this year at pit race, and also there weren't really as many incidents as you would think for like a time trial event.
I
It
did
was
hear
really
a
good.
car went barrel rolling after the kink. Yeah, were they
Okay,
okay? I didn't hear anything else about it.
they were fine.
Okay,
Yep. Honestly, Civic FL5 Type R, unbelievably safe car. Very, very, very safe car.
okay,
That's about it.
all right. I'm glad nobody was hurt because I just heard
Yep.
that they went barrel rolling and I couldn't find any more information about it. And I was trying to like be uh, like like figure out if that person was okay because normally if it's that much of a blackout of information, you're like, oh, somebody got hurt.
Right. I was shocked actually on site. Like basically no one knew what happened, but it wasn't because it was secretive. It was just because they did a really good job of just like, I don't
Cleaning
know.
it up.
Here's the new schedule. I played. You know what it was?
It was that dead air time killing from Tom O'Gorman.
Yeah. No. Because I played music. I played such good music for the half hour we were down. No one even noticed.
DJ Tom.
The paddock never got quiet.
Yep.
I'm changing lives over here. I should be a DJ.
You should be a DJ. You could DJ. I think you could. Just don't be the guy
It'd be
that,
fun.
dude, think about it. Look, end goal, Tom, you could be somebody with a laptop standing on main stage at a grid life event. Dude, I don't get the laptop music. I'm sorry.
I don't think they let. Yeah. I don't think.
That's the
I don't
thing.
know.
You go to the concert and you're like, all right, let's see this. And then it's just some dude with a laptop like dancing on stage, and you're like, what is going on?
They put a lot of work into the visuals behind them.
Yep.
When the smoke sprays.
Yep. Like it's cool. But like, I don't know.
And spacebar.
Spacebar. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna like loop this song into that one, but I don't understand any of the nuances that involve that. It's not readily apparent to me watching it. So I guess it happened. Maybe that was like really hard to do. I don't know. It's just a dude at a laptop. Like I have no idea.
Wob wob wob.
That was pretty good.
Was it good?
Yeah, it
Okay,
was
cool.
pretty good. You just made people's subwoofers in their car go.
Cool.
All
All right,
right.
now we should do a question.
Let's do a question. Do we got one queued up? Oh, also, Christine's been training for a ladies' league. It's called the Liberty Bell League, and there's a Discord for it. If you come into our Discord and ask about it, we can send you in that general direction. But it's a ladies only iRacing league, and Tom and I are gonna commentate it.
I'm so excited.
It's gonna be fun.
It's going to be
And
streamed and it's available to it's open to any women. It's being put on by Amy Houseal. I'm trying to find the link to it on Facebook because there is a link to the Discord on Facebook, I think. But you do need to get an invite. There's already like 30 people who are signed up and registered in the Discord to race, which I think will be so fun and so cool.
it's gonna be super cool. Christine actually said that she was down, which surprised me. and she did her first practice session with yours truly as the coach. You know, I see this a lot, Tom, and I don't know what it is, and maybe I'll find the same thing. But you'll see like significant others like competing to each other, and they can't coach each other. Do you see this all the time?
Oh, I do. No, I see this all the time, but also it expands into real life. Like I used to watch my parents try to do taxes together and they were like there were spreadsheets. My parents are like I think I can't picture a more like healthy picture of a relationship for people who've been married for 30 plus years
Yeah.
than my parents. They are so strong in the way that they support each other and everything. And you put them on a computer with both of them sitting in front of it and a spreadsheet to do taxes, and they are at each other's throats within like 5 minutes. And I used to be like, oh my God, mom and dad are fighting. And it was the only time I can remember them fighting. I think it's just a couples thing. I don't know what it is.
So me and Christine did not fight, just for the record. And I feel like she was putting together like the stuff that I was saying, and I was trying not to overload her because like Christine doesn't iRace or anything ever. She doesn't kart. She's like done 2 autocross events. This is like completely foreign and new to her. She just like the only exposure she has from it is just because it's radiating out of my body at all times. Like that's the only exposure that she has. Um, so but I'm curious. I'd be curious people's takes on why they think that the like couples like they can't help each other. Like I remember I'd be helping somebody and I would hear their partner say exactly the same thing, and then it just completely bounces off of them. I say the same thing, but like in like with DJ words, and then they go, "Oh, that makes sense," and I'm like, I don't want to point out that I said the same thing that the other person said, but like there's like something going on there. You know what I mean? So
Yes, I do.
so
Yeah.
uh, if you
I've
had
actually had people reach out being like, "Hey, I'd like to get coaching for my significant other because I can't do it,
yeah.
or they won't let me do it. Would you be willing to work with them?"
Yeah, so I'm curious what that dynamic is.
And it's not always women, like man reaches out to get women coaching. It's like been both ways before.
No, it is. Yeah. So I'm curious, like the intricacies of that dynamic. So if you've experienced that dynamic, maybe pop in the Discord and like kind of share it with us, and so we can share it on the podcast. And if you don't want to share it on the podcast, then you can just send me a PM. But I'm like genuinely curious, like what that dynamic, how it comes about. Did it start that way? Did it not start that way? Because what I really don't want to happen is for me not to be able to help Christine if she starts getting interested into this. So I want to know like the pitfalls for me to stay away from me like trying to help her become proficient at driving a car.
Yep.
So, all right, you ready for a question, Tom?
Ready?
Okay. Should I find it?
Oh, you have to do the thing.
Oh, emails.
Perfect. I don't think we've done this question from Danny. I mean this question seriously, even if it's a bit silly. How do you have fun on your way down from the peak of Mount Stupid? It can be frustrating, embarrassing, emotional. Any tips for enjoying that part of the journey, particularly during an event or race weekend? Obviously, referencing Dunning Kruger curve, you get to the peak of Mount Stupid, then down into the Valley of Despair.
So
How do you
yeah,
enjoy the way down from the peak of Mount Stupid?
so just to sum up like what that journey has felt like so far when you like before you fall into the pit of despair when you're coming off the top of the mountain. Uh, they're getting tons of gains. They're learning. They think they're, oh man, I'm really good at this. And then at some point they realize, oh wow, there's so much more to learn about this. And I actually turns out that I'm not very good at this at all. And that's the part where Danny's talking about. And it's like you never feel as like confident at your abilities as you did when you first started off because you learned enough to know that you don't know anything, essentially. So just a short recap on the Dunning-Kruger curve. So what like when your gains aren't seconds, but now they're less than that, and they come way less frequently, like whatever gains you're having. That's basically where Danny's saying that he is, right? Am I interpreting that correctly?
He's not saying he's there, but how do you enjoy it?
How do you
That's what
enjoy it?
he's
Yeah.
asking, like, how do you have fun instead of it being frustrating and embarrassing?
Well, first off, it shouldn't be embarrassing because everyone's on their own journey. And I don't think it's fair to compare your journey to somebody else's. Maybe you could do it as like a reference, but not necessarily of like where you should be. But like you could compare your journey to other people's to kind of understand how you're progressing, just as like intentional feedback back to yourself.
Do you think the descent from the quote unquote peak of Mount Stupid to the quote unquote valley of despair happens over time or instantly?
I think
'Cause I think it happens
I
instantly.
think it cascades like rather quickly. You're like you like have a hunch like wait a second, and then like as you like dig into that, it just like plummets into the valley of despair where you kind of just realize that oh man, I don't really know anything about this. But then also like if you look at the Dunning-Kruger curve, oh, what a freaking handy shirt I'm wearing right now. So if you look at the Dunning-Kruger curve, I think there's a bunch of little Dunning-Kruger curves hidden in the Dunning-Kruger curve. So like you might feel like, oh, I'm at the Peak Stupid. And then you like think you fall in the Valley of Despair, but then actually you're still just on like the initial slope to the actual peak of Mount Stupid. Like there's like a bunch of curves in the curves. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So like on the way down, you could feel like maybe I hit the valley of despair because I'm on my way down of the Dunning Kruger curve, but like actually you didn't. Maybe you're even still on your way up. Like it's kind of hard to tell where you are. Sorry, I'm getting a little like I swear I didn't do acid before this podcast, but that's what it's sounding like right now. So uh yeah, I don't think it's really I don't think you can really know where you are on the curve in the moment that you're on the curve. I think you can only know like kind of where you've been essentially.
I think yeah, I thought the same thing to kick it off. Like you have to be able to identify that first, which is the hard part. I think honestly, I think the hardest part is to identify that you're on the 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 bottom of the curve rather than on your way up. Because when you're on the top, when you're at the peak of Mount Stupid, or as you like to say, the Mount of Peak Stupid,
Yep.
it doesn't it doesn't it doesn't like part of that is you don't know better yet. And then once you learn that you don't know better, that's when you fall down, which I agree. I think it either happens at an instant or over a very short period of
In a
time.
short period of time, it like cascades. And I think that's when most people fall off
If
whatever
you've already
hobby.
I agree. Yeah, so if you identify it and you stick with it, uh, this is not easy to do specifically, but it's easy to say. I think you shouldn't take the little wins and enjoy I don't I to me I enjoy the people around me. I enjoy the things that happen outside of my time in the car or the time doing the activity, let's say. Talking about it is fun. Um, kind of immersing yourself in it is fun in that way. That's kind of what our Discord is. It's like the place you can immerse yourself in like the dorkiest conversations about either your video or the way you're thinking about driving or whatever. Um, how do you help somebody?
So
I I think we agree that you can't help somebody realize that they're not
yeah,
off the peak of Mount
dude,
Stupid yet.
dude, if
But
I Tom, if we could figure out a way to guide people into the valley of despair and get them off that mountain, we would be
shove them.
millionaires. We would be millionaires, Tom, because no, that would be so useful in the corporate world if you could just help people realize that they don't know enough to that they don't know enough to realize that they really don't know anything or just like just that paradigm or paradox. I don't know what word I'm trying to use, but like that scenario like catches so that costs businesses so much money because somebody will go into something blindly and think that that they know everything there is to know, and it ends up like being a mistake, whether it's in business or engineering or whatever. Like if there was a way to help people to guide people out of that, we could just be doing like corporate trainings like all over the country, charge like big time money. All these companies would like totally benefit from it, and we would just be like driving GT3 cars. Freaking no lie, Tom. Like that's exactly what would happen. But
I think you're right.
I haven't figured out a way to do it yet. So once I figure it out, then like I'll let everyone know, and there'll be signs. There will be signs that we figured it out because Tom and I will be driving GT3 cars.
I had a person from a corporation reach out to me in the last couple of years and ask if I would be willing to do a speaking engagement. And I know some people who work at that company. So I asked them like, "Hey, have you ever done a speaking engagement or booked one? Do you have any idea what it would cost or what I should even quote them? Like I've never done anything like this before." And they're like, "I think the average quote for like a corporate speaker is like $10,000 a speech." And I was like, "Oh, obviously I didn't do it or else you guys would never hear from me again because I'd have
Because
$10,000." But
$10,000.
but
There would be
I think you're right.
signs. There would be signs if Tom got
Would be
$10,000.
signs. I would feel so rich with $10,000.
Oh my God.
But I do think that okay, so the how do you have fun? I mean, that is a really hard and big question. I think learning to identify it first or being willing to identify, like, I don't know what I don't know. What I'm thinking about, though, more is like being able to acknowledge the little victories. I'm really stuck on that thought right now about
That helps. But
um,
to me, like the little
taking the
victories, go
wins
ahead.
in a way that lets you enjoy them instead of constantly. I'm my own worst critic. I think a lot of us are. If you found this podcast, you likely are that you're not constantly berating yourself for not being good enough or not having improved it faster or not thought of that faster or learned that quicker. It's the I'm really glad I know that now. That makes all of these other things in the history make sense. Like if you go back through your history of events or driving mistakes or accidents or like not accidents, you know what I mean? Times that you weren't satisfied with your performance. Um, to me that's like that is an exponential victory. It's not like you just figured it out now and now that's a little victory. That you should be allowing yourself to take all of that as a victory because now I figured out this piece of the puzzle that I didn't have before, and it's not just like this one thing at this one moment. It's this puzzle piece that fills in the bigger picture of the puzzle all the way back to when you started driving, or the activity in general.
I
Like
I think
I try to embrace that now for myself, and I have a hard time still even encouraging people to do that when I'm working with them, coaching them, or whatever, and they're talking to me about the driving parts, and I never thought of that, or why didn't I do that better that time, or something. It's just not fair to yourself to do that
yeah,
without at
definitely.
least giving yourself. You can be self-deprecating and be funny and whatever, but at the core of it, you should be willing to let yourself know, like I didn't know that before, now I know it now, and that helps me personally take it to heart rather than take it and in one ear and out the other and then be stuck on like now I'm still, wasn't good enough that time. That makes sense?
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. So you were talking about like taking the little wins, and the little wins don't necessarily have to be like a win. They can be evidence that you're improving. Um, and to me, that should be the overall goal is just improve the fastest you can. Be the best competitor that you can be every time you're competing, whatever that means, whatever that is, and be self-critical and honest with yourself where you're at to be able to build in processes, habits, like because the things that you're building on your on that slope of enlightenment, you're gonna use that not just in driving, but just like in everything. Like if you're trying to do something hard and you're finding ways to get better at that thing, the things that you're figuring out don't just apply to that thing. They will apply to everything. Uh, so you have to fall in love with the process. And I talked about this a little bit in the one of the episodes right after I won D Street this year. And I think falling
You
in
won
love,
what?
yeah, newsflash. It I still it still hits me every once in a while. I go, oh, hey, oh, I won the thing. Um, but I think falling in love with the process is probably the most important part about that slope of enlightenment when you're in the like the valley of despair. And that process is like ever evolving and changing, and you're making overhauls to it, and it needs to be flexible, and you need to be flexible, and you need to revel in whatever improvements that you're finding, no matter how small. Sometimes they're more significant than others. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it's happening at all. But then every once in a while, you get some evidence that you are improving, whether it's like a best lap or a higher I rating, or you did better on packs than you normally do, or you beat somebody that you normally don't beat, or something like that. Like every once in a while, you'll get like a little nugget of feedback that, oh, the process is working. And those are the little wins that I think Tom was talking about, where you need to take those little wins. You need to realize them. You can't do the thing, and I see this too often, where you'll beat somebody that normally would beat you, and you go, well, they just had a bad event. Don't do that. Don't take away that win from yourself. Just go, it's working. I got to just keep putting the bricks down, because at some point I'll have a house. Right now it's just a pile of bricks, but I'm going to keep putting the bricks down with the promise that I'll have a house at some point. And this is really important. You have to believe that you'll get there, because if you don't believe that you won't get there, you won't put in the work. But if you just believe that you'll get there, the work will seem worth it. It will seem like you should put in the work because you actually believe that you're going to get there. And the belief is probably the most important part. It keeps the hope alive. It makes the work seem like it's worth it. And to me, it's between falling in love with the process and the belief that you'll get there. And to me, those are the most important parts about the slope of enlightenment. And if you can get those two things down, then you're perfectly fine. I think the third thing, which is like a bonus thing, is be present to where you're at currently, and take it in, because you're only going to do that journey once, and it's a really fun journey, and enjoy it. Enjoy like the little stepping stones and the things like I remember when I got my first trophy at a national event. I got a little blue hat. I still have that hat. It was my first trophy, and I took a picture of it and posted on Facebook and was like, "First trophy, first of many. I can't wait to like. I'm so excited about this, or so happy about my performance this weekend, or whatever." Like, enjoy the moment that you're in, because you'll never be in that moment again. Uh, the first of all the things that you'll eventually get to, because you're putting in the work, because you think it's worth it, because you believe that you'll get there. And there is a constantly moving goalpost. You'll never actually get there, because you're
Yeah.
going to constantly move it as you get closer to what was once your goalpost. But that's fine. At some point, you're going to go, the journey is just the journey, and it's one hell of a ride, and I'm loving it. And like that's going to be the thing that drives you forward.
I agree with all that. The only thing I'll add is let yourself, like on a practical level, be willing to get more granular, because a thing like a results sheet or your memory of the weekend feeling like it wasn't as good as you wanted or whatever is a very, very high level thing.
Hmm.
And a little victory is a much more granular thing. It could be I did a really good job of threshold breaking this weekend. I did a really good job of trail
Yes.
breaking into the
Yep.
apex. I did a really good job of cutting distance. Like let yourself get more granular so that you're taking those little victories and at least offsetting, if not erasing, the feeling of like I didn't do as well as I wanted to over the high level thought, because it's easy to have the high level thought quickly and let it take over. But
You can feel
yeah,
that way.
I think I like our answer.
You can feel that way. You can feel bad about like, oh man, I really didn't pull out my best performance, or I did my best, but it wasn't enough, and it feels bad. And that's perfectly fine to feel bad. Uh, but don't let that feel bad turn into excuses, because those aren't going to help you be a better driver. Don't let that feel bad turn into like self destruction in any case. Like the way you should feel better from that feeling bad is by putting the work in, because if you're putting the work in and that's helping you feel better, it's you're doing a long-term solution to that feeling bad, so you don't feel like that again. Something else will make you feel bad, but that particular thing won't make you feel bad again.
Or just do better.
Do better than you've been doing.
Do better than you've been doing. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Don't disappoint Tom.
I don't, I'm kidding. Yeah,
But
I hope that's a helpful answer. I hope it's at least you take a little, anybody listening to that, I think there's something in there. I really like the way that we broke that down.
yeah, and I think no matter what you're competing in, what you're doing, you don't even have to be driving a car. You don't even have to be competing. I really think that for happiness in this life, I think that's important, is to fall in love with the process and just go for the journey.
Yep. What are you doing this weekend?
Same thing you're doing, Tom. We're endurance
Oh,
racing,
we're going endurance racing, guys.
curt-
I'm so excited.
courtesy of Spicy Cat Racing. He's a member of the podcast, and he's also launching a store that we should probably talk about at some point. But spicycatracing.com or Google it or something like that. I don't know if I think the store is fully functional at this point. We're trying to get like a lizard brain code so people can show the support over there. But me and Tom are going endurance racing in a Spec 3 at CMP. And the car's never been endurance racing before. And I don't think, I don't think, I don't think a lot of the people, I think everyone on the team has endurance raced before, but like not as a collective whole. So like this is like the first outing of endurance racing. So I'm sure there's going to be like weird fuel mishaps and it's going to be like, it's going to be the first pancake, right? But
Oh, that's a great analogy. Yes, so we're racing Lucky Dog Endurance Series. It's my first time doing this one. I don't know if anyone else has. Ryan, Anthony, you and I are the drivers. I think the four of us. But
yep,
there's going to be a ton of Lizard Brains people and people we sim race with and stuff there. Um, I'm super looking forward to it. We
it's
head
gonna be
down on
fun. Regardless of how the
Thursday.
results come out, it's gonna be really fun.
Yeah, and the interesting part about Lucky Dog, and we're gonna have a lot to talk about next week, I'm sure, because it's a bracket racing endurance series. So they class you based on your lap time, not based on your car, which means you can kind of control the rate at which you want to like burn the car down and like push. So I'm curious to see like how that pans out after we like get rolling in the. I don't know, like
How does that work
maybe we'll
with?
pick a pace that we can keep the car a little bit more underneath us. Or maybe we'll want to push. I'm not sure.
Well, what if you're just like, what if you just sandbag and then it's just like, oh, hey guys, you ready to win this race? All right, Tom, go for it. And then you're just like ripping
They
laps,
move they move your class
like mid
during the
race.
race, I believe. Yeah.
They can boot you.
Yeah, they move you up a class.
See, it better just
So
rain,
that'll be
so we
fun.
just look like rain gods.
If it rains, it might rain. It's Spec Hankook RS4, Ugh. But it will last the whole weekend. And I guess it is what it is for everybody. Yeah, it's like AER. I didn't know that Lucky Dog was like that until recently though. And I think this series came out of the West Coast
I think it did.
primarily.
Yeah.
And then they crept into the across the South and into the Southeast. I'm not sure they race up in the Midwest yet, but I'm really curious. I haven't raced in a new series in a long time.
Yeah. Same.
I'm curious about this drivers meeting. Ooh,
Ooh, well,
drivers
you know
meeting
what,
guy.
guys? Next week we're gonna give you the freaking report card on a Lucky Dog drivers meeting. You know it. I feel
Gonna have
like
my critical hat on.
I feel like we're the drivers meeting police over here.
I know I am. You can lump yourself in with me or not.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm coming with. But yeah, it's gonna be super fun. So thanks to Spicy Cat. And I'm sure Anthony, who's in the chat right now, I think he's like the main wrench on the car. So Anthony, hopefully you checked everything twice. Um, and also thank you for
Or well,
putting the car together. Uh, but yeah, I think it's gonna be a good time, and I think it's actually a pretty competitive team. If we can like do all the endurance racing stuff correctly. Oh, Anthony said he sent it to a real shop for the final stuff. Anthony bowed out. That's funny.
that's funny. All right, that'll be cool. I'm very much looking forward to that.
All right. Cool. I think that's about it. I'm 5 minutes late to coaching, but the person's in here, so I think they understand why I'm late.
Perfect. All right, we'll let you go and enjoy coaching them, and we'll talk to you guys all next week.
Okay, I'm gonna play the outro music, Tom.
Oh, that's me doing that. All right, everyone listening, I love your hair and I hope you win.